Flosstube, my name's Lauren. You might be more familiar with me as Cross Stitch Bunny if you follow me on Instagram. That is my stitchy page on there where I share all my cross stitching stuff. If you have found this video, then hello, this is my first Flosstube. I'm quite excited and also nervous about it, so we'll just see how it goes. My main motivation for wanting to do a Flosstube is just that I love watching other people's. I enjoy seeing what people are stitching, what projects they found, patterns I might not have seen, just, ideas from what other people are doing. It's nice to see people doing like stitch alongs that I might not even be aware of. Yeah, watching Flosstube is just really fun for me. I enjoy watching it mainly while I do my own stitching. Or sometimes just of an evening just to relax before bed, things like that. So yeah, I just thought that I would like to have a go myself and share a bit of what I've been doing. So a very short about me, I have been stitching since 2002 was when I did my very first project. It was a tiny little robin card that my mum bought me. We were on holiday in Scotland, it was rainy, it was miserable. I was very bored, we were stuck inside, so she got me this little kit and showed me how to do it. She used to do quite a lot of stitching and I really loved it and carried on since that point. So I started off doing some other small little cards and then moved on to some more complex bits like some flower fairies. Then I went through a massive Winnie the Pooh phase when I discovered those patterns and just did kit after kit after kit of Winnie designs. So I do have quite a lot of those to show you in just a minute. I also had quite a lot of things at that time that I gave up on. So I'd start stitching something and if I made a mistake or anything like that, like I just didn't know how to fix it or what to do, and I just get really mad and shove them all in a bag. I probably still have them somewhere because I don't remember throwing them out, but I'm not sure where they are. I may share those at some point in the future if and when I come across them. So yeah, I started stitching in 2002 and I stitched right up to 2016, sort of on and off, bearing in mind that I was in school at the time and then uni and then new jobs and things like that. So I stitched about 30 projects in total in that time period, which isn't really that many, but I did have quite a lot of other hobbies at the time. Did a lot of horse riding, things like that. So yeah, didn't necessarily have loads of time to stitch. Then in 2016 I started a new job that was quite intense, a lot of work, a lot of hours, and I just stopped stitching. I don't really know how it happened. It wasn't a conscious decision to stop. I just finished whichever was the last project I did and just didn't pick up and start a new one, and all my stash of kits and everything had just stayed in a little, well, quite big box, and I hadn't touched it for years. So then in that time period between 2016 and 2021, I had both my children, who are 3 and 1 currently, and yeah, had quite a lot going on, just didn't touch it whatsoever. So in early 2021 we were having a bit of a house clear out, like trying to declutter, get rid of a lot of things, and I looked at my massive box, my big chest of all my stitching supplies, and just thought, you know what, I've not touched this for 5 or 6 years. I'm not going to do it again, so I'm going to sell it all. So I took the whole lot and I just stuck it on a Facebook marketplace listing as pretty much one giant bundle, which was kits, because previously, like up to 2016, I'd never self-kitted a project. I'd bought magazines, I'd looked at magazines, but I'd never actually stitched anything from a magazine or just a pattern. So I just had this huge stash of kits and I sold them all. Like, I sold them all in a bundle. I put them up for a price which retrospectively was ridiculously low, because I think I was just a bit out of touch with how much stitching supplies can cost. So I put them up there, and literally within hours I had dozens of messages about them, and one lady came and collected them from me pretty much immediately, and I cleared all this lovely space in this big giant chest, so I had room to store all our other rubbish in it. And like literally within a week or two of selling it, like having gone through all those kits and looked through all my stuff, I then suddenly had this like overwhelming regret for having got rid of it, because I thought, you know what, maybe it's something I would like to do again, but by then it was a bit late. So yeah, then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stitch something. So I went online and I went onto eBay, which prior to my stitching break, like, eBay was really the only place online that I used to shop for any stitchy stuff, or I'd go to a physical store, of which there were a couple nearby me. So yeah, like at the point where I rejoined the stitching community, as it were, decided that I'm going to stitch something. I didn't really know where to look to find anything, so I popped onto eBay, found a nice flamingo pattern, and decided that's what I'm going to stitch. So I stitched that. I think I started it in either March or April of this year, and it completely got me hooked again. And in a very short space of time, I have added to my stash. I did luckily find a few things that I hadn't included in that bundle and had kept hold of, so quite a few old magazines and things like that I had bought, I still have. Did find some threads and stuff, which, like I said, is strange because I'd never self-kitted projects before, but I had collected some threads, so I did find some threads, some magazines, a couple of kits that had been stored in a different place that I'd missed when I'd done my clear out. So I started with a few supplies, but I have rapidly added to and replenished my kit. And trying to look on the positive side, a lot of the kits that I did get rid of are things that, you know, I picked out and chose them a long time ago, some of them more than a decade ago, and they weren't necessarily things that I want to stitch now. So yeah, not dwelling on the fact too much that I got rid of it all and sort of started afresh, and I'm looking now at the things that I want to stitch in the here and now, and not just stitching things I bought years ago because I feel like I need to get through them. So yeah, everything in my stash is relatively new, things that appeal to me now, and I've been on a bit of a roll really. So restarted in March, and since then I have done 10 projects, like 10 finished projects. I do have 9 of those to show you. One was gifted as an anniversary gift to my parents, but I think I have a few photos, so I'll pop a photo in. So yeah, I will start off with my past finishes, which I have. Yeah, they're here. So this is the very first cross stitch I ever did. So it is a little robin in like a nice card frame, and I did date him because I was very proud of him. So he was completed, I'm not sure when he was started, but he was completed on the 30th of the 8th 2002. So that is my first ever cross stitch, my little robin. Let's put him over there. Then the rest are in no particular order. I just know that was my first one because I bothered to date him, but a lot of the other ones I didn't, so I don't really know what order I did these in. So I know that these were fairly early efforts. So again, just all little small things. Got a deer here, got a hedgehog, a little Christmas dog. I think this like looks like a mouse. Is it Mouse Loft Designs? I think. I don't know. It was done a long time ago, but it looks very similar, so maybe. A few kits here from magazines, so I'm not even going to take these out of their little storage packets, but I did a little Bambi, a Sun Bunny to Love, like just face portrait with a little frame to mount it in, which I've not done. Got this little Winnie the Pooh, which was mostly backstitch really, but I think that turned out quite nice, and that has all the stuff in it to make like a little hanging, which again, I didn't actually put it together once I'd stitched it. So yeah, those are some of the first small things I did, and then I quite quickly moved on to trying out these, which I'll just hold against the board so you can see them a bit better. So I've got this Iris Fairy from the Flower Fairies series, and then I've also done the Rose Fairy. So I do love these and I'm really proud of them because I was still basically a completely novice stitcher when I decided to attempt them, and I think they didn't turn out too badly, but I did notice with both of them when getting them out of my little box is they're like quite pinched, like here in the middle, and it's not a crease like from a frame. It can't be ironed out. It's literally like the tension was just off clearly when I was working on them, and like the fabric is permanently pinched by the stitching, but you know, they're still pretty and I'm proud of the fact that I did them. So moving on, this is a massive one that I did, which was a big Winnie the Pooh like cushion cover, which I didn't turn into a cushion. Like you see a theme here, which is that I don't finish things. I stitch for the love of stitching something, because I enjoy working on a project. I enjoy the actual process of stitching it, and then I just put them in a box, which is a shame. I really do. Going through all these now, I really do need to try and frame some of them. I did a lot of Winnie the Pooh designs, and at the time I had no children, and I always thought, you know, when I do have children, I'll do them like a nice Winnie the Pooh themed nursery or something. And my kids are now 1 and 3, so still little, but you know, they're here and all this stuff is still in a box. So yeah, I'm not sure if I've missed the boat on framing all the Winnies, but here are some more. I do like this one, Best Friends. And like all of these past projects, like I said, they were all kits at the time. So yeah, I don't know what I've stitched them on or anything like that. Just know they were all kits. I think just by eye, most of them are on 14 count Ada. None of them, I don't think, are on even weave. A couple of them might be on like 16 count, but I don't think anything smaller than that. I do really love this one. So this was my Winnie seasons. So you've got all 4 seasons there. I think this one did take me quite a long time to stitch, but it's just so pretty. I really love it. There's another one. So it's a smaller project, which is just my little Tigger. Oh, I've got him the wrong way. Here he is. So yeah, my little Tigger on a fun background. I actually saw someone posting this one on Instagram. I'm sorry, I've forgotten who it was, but only a matter of days ago I saw someone stitching that, which made me smile. Now this one I love as well. This is my Tiggers, like jumping, and says, you know, bouncing is what they do best. So yeah, there's my Tiggers, which kind of goes with the Winnie that was also 3 Winnies together, which I think I've shown you. Another Eeyore. So yeah, I did say that I did a lot of Winnies. I think that's all of them now. Then there's this little elephant one, which is quite cute. I think this is Peanut and Friends, and called The Kiss. But yeah, super cute. I really like that one. And I did 3 of these born free baby animals. So I did the giraffe, the lion, and the baby zebra as well, which would actually look really nice framed as a set. Now this piece I've actually stitched twice, and one was gifted. So out of my 30 finishes before 2016, I've only got one here, but I've done this one twice. This one is blank with the name. So with this one I stitched the first one as a gift for somebody, a friend that had had a little girl, and then I liked it so much, I felt sad after I gave it away, so I restitched it a second time, leaving the name blank, hoping that I would have use for it myself one day, and now I do. So really it should be in my daughter's room, but it's not, so I might have to finish this one and frame that for her now that I'm rediscovering all these things. Now this one I absolutely love. I think This was one of the last things I stitched before my stitching break. I love it. Probably like one of the only sort of sampler style things that I had stitched to that point. It's just really beautiful, this one. I was very proud of this finish. So a smaller one here. Let's put this one on the board because it's a bit difficult to see. So that's just our home and lots of different home inspired words and writing on it. This one I absolutely love. I know I keep saying that a lot, but I do. Laughter is a smile that bubbles over, and I know that this is a dimensions kit because I have seen it here and there still for sale. I've definitely seen it on eBay still for sale as a kit. So yeah, I just think this one is absolutely lovely. Nearly getting to the end of my part. Well, this is actually the last one that I did before my stitching break. So, sorry, I don't know if it was the last one, but it's the last one I'm showing you from before my stitching break. So this is Love is the Thread That Sews Hearts Together. Again, it's quite a simple design, but I think it's really pretty. So that is all my stitches from before my big stitching break. Moving on to my 2021 and onward stitching from when I restarted. This was my Flamingo, so the piece that got me back into stitching. I just love the colours, I think it's really pretty. Yeah, and this, I don't know, just it's still kind of cartoony, but compared to like a lot of the designs I had in my stash that I got rid of, it just like seemed more adult, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, it's kind of got that cartoon vibe, but I just think it's just like a bit more of an adult pattern rather than like the really cutesy sort of nursery style patterns I was stitching before. My second finish for this year is possibly my favourite so far. I discovered Emma Congdon and her patterns, and I quickly bought the Cross Stitch for the Earth book, and I had to stitch this straight away. For the size of it, I actually did this one really quickly because I just couldn't put it down. I loved it. I love the writing. I love all the little details. The jellyfish were really fun to stitch. The whales, oh, this whole pattern is just beautiful. I love the sentiment behind it. I think, you know, it's a really poignant saying, quote. It's just lovely. I love everything about it. I also love every other pattern in the book and simply can't stitch them all if I ever want to stitch anything else. So a lot of those are on my wish list. Got these two little finishes here. So this was free in a recent magazine, World of Cross Stitching. I'm not sure what issue, but one within the last few months. And then this was one little kit that I still had that I hadn't got rid of, and it just says stick to your diet, and it came with this wooden frame and everything ready to be framed in. I just thought that was really sweet. So yeah, it's fully finished, but only because it came with everything I needed to do it. Another one from Cross Stitch for the Earth, and I did this Pardon the Weeds, We're Feeding the Bees. This might look slightly different to other people's versions that you may have seen just because of the Ada that I chose. So I've done it on like a background printed Ada that has like flowers and things on it, which I just thought was really appropriate and pretty. It did mean that I had to offset the pattern slightly to not spoil this flower, but I think that when I was originally going to add some more bees and stuff in here, but I'm not sure that I am going to. I think what I will do at some point is get this professionally framed and maybe have the mount actually just cut round slightly to follow the pattern, just so that it looks not so strange. Like I think right now I love the background, but I also think it looks slightly strange that this is all blank. So if it was mounted with like a cutout that follows that outline. I think that would look really nice. Now I think all of these finishes now that I'm showing you are all in the last month of July. I set myself, was it July? Yeah, it was July. I set myself a challenge. So for the 7th month of the year, I wanted 7 new starts, but I was only going to let myself have 5 whips on the go at once. So to get my 7 new starts, I had to have like 6 finishes or something. I think it was 6 finishes. And I did. I managed to do it, but it meant that I finished a lot of projects last month. So here I've got my little whale, who I think is just beautiful, be perfect to go in my little boy's room. And this was stitched with a lot of blended colours, which I did enjoy and just think it looks really nice. I didn't enjoy the back stitch so much on this. It was a struggle at times. I don't tend to dislike backstitch that much. Like I've stitched a lot of things. The majority of the things I have stitched do have an element of backstitch, and I don't usually mind it too much. With this particular pattern, I don't know what it was. I think it was just the placement of the backstitch. I just found it a real challenge, but I think that it turned out okay in the end and looks pretty good. So that was one of my finishes for July. And I've got these two as a pair, and this is my Fiona Baker set of a fox and a little matching squirrel, and I just think these are so super cute. I love them. They're mainly blackwork, which I've not really done before, although I've admired other people's blackwork. I've never really done it. And yeah, these are a perfect introduction to that. There is a third one in that set of a deer, which I will do at some point. I've got the 3 patterns from a magazine, but I do know that they are available also on the Fiona Baker Etsy store. And last but not least was this finish, which is my most recent finish. And this is my Noodle Panda, and I just love him. I just think he's really, really cute. I stitched him on like this mottled background fabric from my own store, which is called Elegant Earth, and I think it suits him really well. He was a very fun stitch. It didn't take me too long. I've forgotten who the designer is, but the pattern is from Etsy, and I will write it below after I've had a look through my little book to see who it was by. But yeah, that is my last finish to show you. So that is all my finishes to date, which takes me nicely onto my current whip. So I think I have 6 or 7 projects on the go at the moment. This is the first one I'm going to show you, which is my Cornish Folkies sampler style piece. Definitely inspired by Poldark, for those of you that have watched it. I'm really enjoying doing this piece. I've got to be honest, I've not really worked on it at all in well over a month because other things have just kind of overtaken it, and I've been more excited to stitch those, but it's not because I don't love this piece. I really do. I'm going to try and make a bit more of an effort to put some more stitches into that in September. So hopefully. My next whip is this, which isn't a lot to show you really. This is my Love sampler, which is barely started, despite I think it may be my oldest whip. I've had this on the go now for months, but in reality not put a lot of time into it, so there's really not much to see. The next one I'm going to show you, so my third one, is my Daisy Mouse. So this is a Bothy Wrendale kit. I decided to do this as part of the Craft of 18 Creations Sal, so Craftivating Creations on YouTube. I'm sure if you're here watching this video that you're already familiar with Sian's channel. I really enjoy watching her floss tubes. I've not seen her stitch anything so far that I don't think is lovely, and I really wanted to join in her Wrendale sale, but I was a month late, so I have split this pattern into 5 rather than 6 stages. So my camera battery just ran out immediately after doing the Daisy Mouse, so the view may have shifted a bit, but I am back with a charged battery. So this is my next work in progress, which is another Bothy design. This is a much older Bothy design. This is the Dictionary of Tea. I think they are now discontinued as kits, but you can still buy the patterns from them as digital copies on their website. So I've done 1 teapot so far out of, I think there's 9. So yeah, still a way to go on this one, but this one is the PMT, and when I've backstitched it, it will be like a sunset, like a pretty sunset, which is cute, and all the other teapots in it will have their own little funny names and be designed appropriately. I just love it. It's a really fun stitch. It's one that I had always wanted to stitch, and I had seen it prior to my stitching break along with all the other dictionary ofs and loved it, and then when I came back to the stitching, like I said, the kits were discontinued, but I did buy the pattern, so working on that one at the moment. My next whip is an Emma Congdon design, or Stitch Rovia, and this is Let Your Smile Change the World, Don't Let the World Change Your Smile, which I just love. I love all the pretty bright colours. I'm really enjoying all of Emma Congdon's designs that I have stitched so far. The one that I mentioned I gave away as an anniversary gift to my parents was another of her designs, which was the Love Is All You Need, and I did that as an anniversary gift. But yeah, every pattern of hers that I have stitched so far I have just enjoyed so much, and this one is no exception. Got 2 more whips on the go to show you. So there is this one, which I have now had on the go for quite a while. I'm not going to take the frame off it because it's exactly where I want it to be, but I think you can still mostly see what I've done so far. This is my memory jars. This is from a magazine, not sure which one, but I will double check and put that below. People on Instagram, when I post this, seem to really enjoy the progress updates. Like, a lot of people seem to like these jars, and I have to say it has been a really fun stitch so far. So far I've done like this city skyscape at night, Let's Go Fly a Kite, Poppy Field Walk. This is, I think, a summer holiday. Then this one here is finished but needs back stitching, and that is a day at the beach. Almost finished stitching this one, but not quite. This is the Clifftop Walk. I've already finished the little camping under the stars at the top, which I actually added in these little sequins instead of French knots for the stars because I just thought they looked really nice. And I've got 2 more jars to do here. One is with hot air balloons, and the final one is a mystery to me because without the pattern in front of me I just can't remember what that one is going to be. But yeah, I was hoping to finish this one this month, and I'm still going to have a go. You know, there's a few days left in the month, but realistically I'm not sure that's going to happen. But I really do hope this one will be finished soon, maybe in September. My final work in progress, I'm really excited to be stitching. This one is a Lizzie Kate pattern, which I had seen a few people on Instagram, and I think again Sian on Craftivating Creations, I saw her showing a Lizzie Kate stitch, and I had a little search around. I found the patterns quite difficult to come across in the UK. I don't know if they're easier to get elsewhere, but the only place that I seemed to be able to find her patterns was on eBay. So I did buy this as a pre-love pattern. It's called Let Them Be Small, and yeah, it's just a really nice, I think, meaningful to me quote. about children and them growing up. I'm especially relating to this right now with my own two, and when I finished it, I can't remember the whole thing, but this top bit will say, "You will never have this day with your children again. Tomorrow they'll be a little older. Every day is a gift." So that's like the top half of the pattern, and then there's something equally poignant below. And I just thought this was really, really lovely. I've made a good start on it. I think I only started this 2 days ago, and so I've put quite a few stitches into it. And this is the first time that I have not used called for colours, so I decided that I really liked this green, which is actually my first time stitching with non-cotton thread. This is like a mock silk, I guess, like viscose thread, and it's very shiny. I don't know if that translates well on this camera, but it's really beautiful, really shiny. The orange is the same, and I really wanted to use those, so I've gone ahead and decided to use them on this pattern. And then for a lot of the smaller details, I've stayed more true to the colours of the original pattern design. But that being said, I've still not colour matched them, as in use the actual DMC codes, because I'm just using up bits I've got from doing other projects, like leftover threads from kits and things. So yeah, I've just been using up bits for this, but so far I'm really happy with it. I've decided to stitch it on this like sparkly green opalescent 16 count, and yeah, I think it goes well. So I think that this one will probably be finished quite quickly because I'm really enjoying it. This may well be finished next month, but we will see. So that is all of my whips, and moving on from that to stash, I guess. Now, this isn't the room that my stash is kept in, so I'm not going to show you my whole stash, which, like I said, has grown pretty rapidly since I restarted stitching in March, but I will show you just the bits that I have bought this particular month, so within August. So I have here my magazine subscription to the world of cross stitching. So that is the latest magazine. I've not had time to even really look through this yet because there was a problem with my delivery and it came really late, but I've got it now. I've had a quick flick through. There's a couple of nice things, like this deer on the front. I actually think is really lovely. I love animal inspired design, so I may well stitch this at some point, but it's going at the bottom of a very long list of other things I want to stitch first. I also got this Christmas magazine, so Enjoy Cross Stitch Christmas, and this was like a special edition magazine that then came with all the threads and things in the back. Not sure how I feel about this. I have opened the bag and had a look through, and I am slightly disappointed with like the pattern selection inside. I don't really know what I was expecting. I think I would have liked it if there'd been a few more like large winter scenes in it, and there are a couple, like there are definitely a few, but it does very much focus on like very small designs for ornaments and cards and things, which I guess makes sense given that it's a seasonal magazine and a lot of people will probably want to stitch little cards and things, so I can understand why that is what the majority of patterns are. But just for me personally, I would have liked a few bigger projects in it, but I will pick a couple of things from it to stitch, and maybe I'll change my mind. But yeah, so I got that this month. Then I did buy a massive haul from someone this month. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear my dogs barking, but they are. Apologies. I did buy this month a bundle of somebody that was having a massive de-stash. Like I said, all my stitching supplies are in another room, but I got floss, I got loads of the freebie magazine kits from different magazines, loads of actual magazines. I got a big folder full of magazine patterns that she'd cut out. Like this lady was having a huge de-stash, giving up the hobby. But I've just got these out to show you, which I was particularly excited about. So I've got these 4 Mirabilia lady patterns inside. So I've got like 2 fairies with wings, and then just 2 pretty ladies, which are the winter and the summer. I think it's the summer queen and the winter queen. I've never done one of these patterns before, but I just think they're beautiful. I've admired a lot of other people doing these Mirabilia ladies, and I am going to be stitching one soon, which I'll come on to in a minute, although it's not one of these 4. But yeah, these were acquired this month. I was very lucky to get them as part of a D-stash. I did also this month get the DMC collector's box of threads. I've not got the box here because it's very heavy. I will pop a picture up, but I got that, and it did come with this lovely colour card of just all the different colours, which I think is going to be really useful. Really nice to have it just for colour reference for everything, especially if I'm wanting to kind of switch out and swap colours that I'm using and not necessarily use called for colours. Like, I think this is a really useful thing to have, so I was glad that it came with that. And I do also now have a full set of DMC threads, which is really exciting. One of the last things is this little notebook, which is not strictly a stitchy purchase, but I bought it to be my little stitching diary. So it's just like a ruled notepad, but with like 5 different sections. And so far I have started a section for my whips, a section for my finishes, so I can just kind of keep track of them in order. And then I am going to use one of the other sections to write out my stitchy wish list of things I don't have yet but want. So yeah, I know that I can record it like on my phone. I do have like a little notes app on my phone with things written down, but there's something nice about just actually writing in a book. So yeah, I did like that. And the last thing on my haul for this month also kind of ties in nicely with my plans for next month, and that is these 2 embellishment kits for the Mirabilia ladies. So this one is for the Duchess of Rouen pattern, which you can just see in the top corner here, and the other one is for the Baker's Wife. So these 2 patterns I think were released to stitch as a duo, and that is what I'm going to do. So moving on to plans for next month, I plan to put some more stitching into my Poldark sampler and hopefully finish my scenic jars and my Lizzie Kate, which is already quite a lot to do. But on the 1st of September I am going to be starting these 2 patterns. I'm going to be stitching them together on one piece of fabric as a set. I'm going to be doing them one above the other rather than left to right. And yeah, I'm really excited to do this. I'm stitching this as a little stitch along with Cross Stitch Mad Sarah on Instagram. We both wanted to do some of these pretty ladies and had never done one before. We're planning on doing the skin like 1/1 and the rest over 2 on even weave, which is quite daunting because neither of us have ever done that before. So we just decided to stitch it together for some support. I think for both of us it will also be our first attempt at beading. So yeah, this is going to be a really exciting project, and I'm really happy that my embellishments for it have arrived. So I've got everything I need now to start it. Including this pretty fabric. So this is the fabric that I have chosen to stitch on, and this is called Sparkle Blush Blooms, and it is like green and pink and sparkly and beautiful. This is 32 count even weave, and this fabric is from my own shop, so I've pinched it from the shop stash, but I just thought it would be lovely to do these ladies on. I wanted something special to stitch them on, and that will be perfect. And Sarah is going to be stitching her lady on the same fabric as well, so we'll be matching. So that is the end of my haul and the start of my plans for September. So the first plan is to start those fancy ladies with Sarah on the 1st of September. But other plans for the month, this particular issue of the World of Cross Stitching has inside it, I don't know if you see this beautiful turtle, this patchwork turtle. And I was super excited to stitch this from the moment that I saw it. And this is very high on my priority list, and I would really like to at least make a start on it in September. So this is just a little bit of a bigger picture, and I've seen 1 or 2 people start him already on Instagram, and he's looking great for both the people that I've seen starting him, and I really want to stitch him myself. So he is high on my September list of priorities. And then from the cross stitch for the earth book, like I mentioned previously, I would love to stitch everything in this, but I'm trying to be selective. But in September, I don't know if this will happen, I don't know if I will have time, but I would really like to start either this The Earth Has Music pattern, or possibly this seasonal sampler design here. I've not decided, but I would really like to at least make a start on one of those two. The one other start I'm planning to have for September is that I want to join the Little Room in the Attic whimsical alphabet sal. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, you should go and check it out. It's very cute. It's a free sal. I really like the style of the designs, and there is quite a lot of metallic like Krennic threads that need to be used in it to make all the little characters like glittery and sparkly and beautiful. But I just think it's a really cute alphabet, and that is another sal I want to join. I am a little bit behind because I think it's already had letters A to G, maybe F released, so I am several letters behind on that, but I'm planning to start that in September and also just catch up as much as I can within that month and see where I get to with it. And lastly, I plan to stitch part 2 of my Wrendale design sal, so yeah, I will be doing part 2 of that. I think that is as far as I have got with my planning. I think that's quite a lot to try and fit into the month of September. I don't know if I'll get it all done, but I'm definitely going to try. And I think that is everything from me. So I'd just like to say thank you if you've watched this, if you found me. It is my first Flosstube. I think it's gone okay considering. Was not particularly prepared in terms of equipment or anything like that. It's just something I decided to do, so no fancy lighting, no particularly fancy camera or anything like that. I hope it's still been viewable and that you were able to clearly see everything I was trying to show you, and I hopefully look forward to doing another video next month, maybe one a month going forward. I don't think I stitch enough to do updates more than monthly because there just wouldn't be a lot of progress to show, but I am going to aim for once a month. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know, and hopefully I will see you next month. Bye.